Okay.
All right, you guys
where?
need to move it back against the wall over
This
there.
is the fourth time we put it here.
I know, but
How far?
It wasn't working before. It still needs to go down.
That way, that way.
Yeah,
This way?
Okay.
Okay,
Now
where do you
remember,
want
we need the tables on either side of them. So that one needs to go there. That goes over there. And you guys keep forgetting the chair has to go back.
Which chair?
That big chair.
I've already
over there. We
moved
still
it. It
need
was
the
over there
table.
first.
The table.
But it didn't work over there before, so we got to move it over here.
How about
this
there?
time.
Okay,
so
we're gonna try
that
to-
goes over here, and then.
What about this? We moved this 14
yeah,
times
so
now.
no, that
12.
that has to go
Do I
there.
have to turn it?
No. So you keep it like that. I don't know if I like it like that.
Perfect.
I don't know. I think we need to get another truck of furniture. I don't think this stuff is working.
All right, we're done for a while.
Well, maybe it does. Does it work?
I'm exhausted. We spent 2
tired.
hours moving furniture.
I'm
you know what?
tired.
But staging, it's all about furniture placement. Nobody else does
It
anything,
is.
but it's furniture
It
placement.
is
Come on,
furniture
guys.
placement.
It is not
All
that bad
furniture-
to work.
all furniture placement.
Come on. It is not just about furniture placement. It is so much more than just that.
Furniture.
Well, for one example, lighting is a huge part of staging. You need the correct lighting in daytime or nighttime, task lighting,
Okay.
ambient lighting. I mean, you need all sorts of different things to think about when you're staging.
Natural lighting? Okay.
Natural lighting
But
is
that's
huge.
still
There's the
moving
ambient
furniture.
lighting.
See,
I got
thank
you.
See, perfect.
That's still moving furniture.
Don't forget the accessories. This is really important. Vases, wall art. You want some knickknacks, but not too many.
Absolutely.
Why don't we get to do the accessories instead of the heavy furniture?
Come on.
Is
You
it
guys can
base or
do it.
boss?
The most overlooked thing in staging is color. Color is a huge part of it. It can help bring you into a room. It can help expand a room. Or if you do the wrong thing, you can shrink a room. Colors are important.
It's just, I like the match with
Peachy
the
color.
Is that where we're going
Very
with it?
peachy today.
Like, it matches good.
I think sound is the most important thing when it comes to staging. I'm thinking maybe a little elevator music in the background.
Like it?
Or maybe some nature noises. Or if IU's playing basketball, I'm thinking the fight song would be great.
Go Irish.
Now, one of the things that gets most overlooked when it's staging either new construction or an existing home is smell, right?
yeah.
Apple cinnamon. Now, it can either attract or detract you the moment you walk through that door of what your nose picks up. So, my personal favorite, when the fresh baked cookies are in the oven.
Absolutely. Now, see, as you can see, there's so much more to staging. Granite Ridge knows exactly how to do it right, and we're going to give you some great tips today.
Welcome to Between the Studs. We are Granite Ridge Builders, custom builders serving northern Indiana, northwest Ohio, and also parts of southern Michigan. We have been building custom homes for almost 2 decades, and we're really passionate about what we do. So join us today as we explore the processes, the trends, and also tips that characterize today's new home. Thanks for watching.
Welcome back. Today's show is all about home staging. At Granite Ridge, we know a lot about staging. We've been staging homes for over 40 years. And we even have a whole department combined with Choice Designs dedicated to staging between 30 and 60 homes at any given time. And there are a lot of those are models, there are specs.
It's a practice that's very well accepted amongst realtors. In fact, the National Association of Realtors has said that staging is a vital part of the process.
And one thing that people don't really realize is staging has been around for over 50 years.
Now, before we had staging, when a realtor would give suggestions to their clients, it was typically mow your yard, keep your house neat and tidy. They didn't really have other recommendations. Now, those are still important, so don't forget those.
Most home buyers have a really hard time visualizing what a house would look like to live in if it's empty or maybe if it's all junky and cluttered.
And that's why staging has grown to such an important step, because it really helps that new buyer, that potential buyer, visualize the potential that that home has.
Well, as we've said, today's home is all about staging, but there's a really cool history where it started about 50 years ago, and it's where it's evolved a lot over the years.
It was a lady by the name of Barbara Schwartz. She was from Bellevue, Washington, who invented this concept of staging. She was a realtor trying to figure out how can I market my product a little better. And in 1972, oh, by the way, I graduated. In 1972 came up with this idea of staging homes.
And she graduated from the University of Washington, so she graduated too, where she studied a lot about music and architecture. She was in the theater that she was there at the university.
And she realized when you went into a home to talk about what a seller should do to their home, it was really hard because you could offend them when you gave them advice, you know, take this away, get rid of this. So she had to come up with a way that wasn't so offensive to a seller.
And so what she decided to do was use her theater background to start to explain what we were doing. That when we were bringing people into our house, we were trying to set the scene, or she started to use set the stage for the presentation for the homeowners. When they walked through, they could imagine themselves living in that home.
And you know, Izzy, Lonnie and I started real estate back about 50 years ago. I remember that in 1976. And I remember Barb. And one thing I remember, she started teaching interior decorators and realtors how to do that. And that's where that started. But one of the most important things I've learned today is that word staging. Where did it come from? And it's all about the theater, but it's about when you are at a theater, you stage the scene, and it's the same thing we do in a house. We're staging it, not for the audience this time, but for the buyer.
Right, and fast forward 50 years later, here we are today, and it really is one of the most important strategies to sell a home.
So what is staging? Staging is all the things we've listed so far. It's bringing in the right decor. It's arranging furniture the right way, making sure the colors look right inside a home, because the idea is to make sure that when we take pictures of the house or when someone walks through the house, they get the most vivid, exciting experience, making the whole experience feel homey and energetic and bright.
At Granite Ridge Builders, we believe that staging includes interior decorating, interior designing, feng shui, color theory, mathematics, juxtaposition. I need somebody to explain that one to me. Balance, proportion, all of these things.
As Charity said, there is so much more that we do on staging today. You know, even things like balance, scale, proximity, and the most important part is improvising. That's a really big part of staging. But guys, what are some of the benefits, would you say, for our audience of staging?
One of the things we recognize is first impressions is so very, very important. We want to make a connection, an emotional connection with the buyer. And also we want to accentuate the positive, and we want to minimize those negatives.
A great staged home is very important to help the buyer feel like they can live in a new space, and also helps it make it feel spacious and more livable for them.
Great staging can also demonstrate a lifestyle to a buyer, so they can walk in and really feel their own lifestyle in that house.
So let's start with some stats. Let's go with some proofs of things. 82% of buyer's agents say that when you have a home staged, they can actually visualize themselves in that home.
The other thing it does, a buyer is more likely to linger in the home. So if this home staged, you got 40 minutes. If not, they're out in 6.
We like that.
Yeah, I've had that happen before. People just plop down in the house. Just check it out.
Right,
I love
right.
it. Yeah.
But we do like it when they start asking questions.
Yeah.
Because we love that part. We love to educate.
And a staged home also typically will bring you more money. So typically 1 to 5% more money in your home value when you sell it.
And when it comes to real estate agents, they tell us that 97% of their buyers are positively affected with the home if it's staged properly. Right.
Now what's impressive is 73% of homes that are staged will be on the market less time than if it's not.
Well, we've experienced that. As soon as we stage it, they're
Gone.
And we have to move that furniture again back out. Well, here's a real shocking one for me. Did you know that last year only 22% of all the homes that were sold and bought in the United States were staged? I thought it would have been a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
I know most of ours are.
Yeah, I agree. Now the typical medium priced home, if it's unstaged, will sit on the market for 83 days, but if you stage that home, the average is 7 days on the market.
Wow.
And more money.
Now let's talk about the cost of staging. So, you know, it typically runs about $750 to $2,800 to stage a home. So it typically runs about 1.3% of the listing price, but you usually get about 7% return value on that. So it really is a good investment if you're planning on selling your home.
Well, like you said, Luke, staging isn't exactly inexpensive, but when we look at the national statistics, we'd find out that a median-sized home would probably spend about $3,300 to stage it. If we're looking at a more luxurious home, we might be looking at somewhere around $6,600. But like Luke said as well, if we're doing it with some of our own materials, an average home could probably be staged for maybe around $1,200.
Well, I think we've proven that those are very reasonable numbers, and I think we've proven that staging does have a benefit. Why don't we do this? Let's show our audience some homes that are staged and give them some ideas of maybe things that are right and maybe things that are wrong.
Well, as you can see, this is the perfect house to do this show in. We are located in Tullymore Run in the Northeast area, and I love this home because there are so many different rooms that we can demonstrate this in.
So I propose that we go ahead and be judges ourselves. We'll go around we've got about 7 rooms we're going to look at, and we're going to judge them by a certain list of characteristics. So let's judge these rooms based on criteria like color, light, style and theme, focal point, and artwork.
We'll also give a staging tip in each and every one of these rooms. It's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah.
All right,
All right,
I think we can do it.
Here we go.
Am I moving
Pick the
furniture
Harry
again?
Potter room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kayla, oh my, the hidden jib door, the colors, the themed room staged just to perfection. I don't want to leave this room.
I'm reading. Okay,
we
we'll come back. All right.
we have a thing.
Favorite chapter. Okay. I do love a good themed room when you're staging a home, and this one, of course, is dear to my heart because it is a awesome Harry Potter theme. One of the tips when it comes to staging a themed room is not to be overdone. So we're gonna go through this room and explain how it's been very subtly done, but you definitely get the theme.
One of my favorite things when you walk into this room is you have elements to it that have nothing to do with Harry Potter, but they still kind of fit in. So as people are looking through the house, if they're not a Harry Potter fan, they're still going to be able to tell the space.
Absolutely. And for example, what you're talking about is maybe this one accent brick wall that's done in wallpaper to kind of go with our hidden room. Or you have these large chess pieces here that have to do with Harry Potter, but it really doesn't either if you're not into it. The lovely book frame on the other side. So a lot of nice things just really are great cohesiveness to the room.
And the hidden room, that's Harry Potter, but not Harry Potter, but it's a nice little place that has been staged so wonderfully as a nice, relaxing area.
Now, one thing that this room has is a cathedral ceiling, and because we don't want the room to get lost or to feel too empty, we did do a dark accent on the ceiling to bring that in and to make the space more cozy.
The other thing that's gorgeous in this room is the way that you did the windows, because you have the 3-bank window across, then you have the one up top that looks fantastic in here, gets lots of natural light, but also looks amazing from the outside.
Absolutely. We talk about how natural light is so important. And again, this is a theme room, so have fun. We have some cross-stitch frames. We have a book with some great hanging keys for the Harry Potter theme. We have some light fixtures. We have the books themselves in here. A fun little accent into different places and something to really make a focal point when you're walking through your next home.
Okay, Kayla, I need you to come with me. I got to show you some pictures. My wife wants to do a flamingo room, and I'm really, really scared.
Cool thing too. I love that.
Our next room on our staging tour is the den. This room is so important now with so many people working from home. You want to stage this room properly.
Right, and one of the things I noticed right up front is the flooring in here. It's a beautiful, resilient plank flooring, but they have a rug in here for a reason, don't they?
That helps with the sound. Also adds a little texture to the room. One thing this room does have is a lot of texture, which is great. So we have the rug, we have leather furnishings, we have the stone wall, and of course the coffered ceiling. So it's a very warm, inviting room.
Sometimes the den or library is a little on the smaller side, and so you want make sure you don't want it to be cluttered. You want people to be able to walk in and enjoy the room.
And this is a good example of furniture that is proportional to the room. So you don't need a couch and all these extra pieces. We have a nice chair with an ottoman. You can sit and read. My favorite piece in this room, it's a statement piece, and this is an antique ship trunk.
It's beautiful. It's a great place that kids could do homework, or you could do your books or watch something on your computer. A great piece of furniture for a room like a den or library.
And then of course we have some nice lighting. We have can lights as well as a decorative light here, a nice triple window, so there's plenty of natural
lighting's
light.
coming right in, right?
Now the last thing I want to talk about is actually our stud tip in this room when it comes to an etagere.
Etagere, okay. New
Now,
word for me.
New word. This is open shelving, and you'll see some open shelving over my shoulder, and we have some nice things displayed on that. Below it is a bookcase. This is a great addition to any den. When you go to stage it though, if you've got 1,000 books, it's not the time to put 1,000 books out.
What about my family picture?
We're going to put those away too.
All right, okay.
We'll keep those for when you live there, but you'll notice we have it very simple behind me. Remember, you always want to do things in odd numbers because it is more pleasing, but this is a nice welcoming den for anyone who wants to work from home or just sit and read.
This is another example of a room that has been staged properly. So we're going to start this segment with a staging tip.
We're going to tell you by percentage which rooms get staged most often. So it starts with the great room, that family room, 90%, then kitchen is 80%, and the master bedroom, 78%.
The bathroom is 56%, and we're standing in the dining room, and 70% of those polled said stage the dining room.
Okay, Lonnie, let's do a little judging of how we've got this dining room set up.
It's looking really good to me. And it looks like in the dining room, the table is the focal point, the most important thing.
It is. It's the most important thing to stage in your dining room. I think it's great in here. We've done a really good job with all the lighting. So you've got the ambient lighting. Yeah. There's a ton of natural light that's coming in here,
it's beautiful. And then we look at the things on this table, like this centerpiece right here. Look at that. That really pops.
You can do so many different things. We've got that tablecloth kind of smushed up there. It's part of the centerpiece. You can put that down and have a tablecloth covering the whole table too.
And it looks like we could go either traditional or something different, right?
That's right. Traditional, where you have your plates and your bowls and your silverware and your wine glass.
By the way, I only need one fork.
Got it. Okay,
anyway,
one fork for Lonnie.
Yeah.
You have your wine glass. Now we've put napkins in these wine glasses here.
Yes.
We could take those out and have
color
Granite,
though. Color is another
wine.
important thing. Right.
Yeah,
there you go. There you go. And then we've got these napkins.
That's right. You can switch it up. So you're holding Mr. Gobble Gobble turkey there.
It's making me hungry.
It's great for Thanksgiving. Maybe it's summertime.
Okay.
You have a great napkin holder. Makes you think summer. So you really can invoke all the memories or all the ideas you want a potential homeowner to see just by having your dining room table staged and ready to go.
And I can tell you, as far as this table goes, it's going to rate right at the top.
Absolutely.
I'm giving it a high grade.
And we're in the master bedroom, and this is a very important room to get staged correctly. But before we get into the features of this room, let's talk about some of the do's and don'ts when it comes to staging, but specifically focusing on the mistakes people can make when it comes to staging.
Well, it's funny because when it comes to staging and furniture, you can have too much furniture, but you can also not have any, and that's a problem too. So being vacant is a problem.
Absolutely. Now, household smells are a really big, important feature. We talked that it's not just about the furniture, but it's about your ambiance around you. So make sure you are very aware of how the house smells when a buyer might be coming in.
We mentioned it at the beginning. Too many displays or too many pictures. Your kids are darling, but you need to take them off the wall to stage your house.
Now, in certain areas, I love a nice dark paint. It really can accent the room well, but for staging your home, you might want to reconsider and light up the walls because it's going to make the house look larger.
Here's a problem I would have, which is why Kayla would have to come help me. A lack of style. If you don't have any style to your home decor, then it's a big mistake when you're staging.
And if you have too many focal points, so many things going on in the room, that can be kind of confusing for a buyer. So make sure everything is a little bit more simple.
So let's talk about this bedroom that we are in. It is staged very well. From the flooring.
Absolutely. Now, we did a hard surface flooring in this master suite, and so because of that, we want to make sure we add a rug because you don't want that sound to be echoey when you're walking through.
I will say, though, a lot of people now want that hard surface flooring in their master bedroom. So here's a question for you. How do you feel about the pillows on the bed? Because I love them, and I think I have more than this at home, but my husband, not so much.
I love the pillows, and we did the pillows really well here because there's not too many and it still has a great style, and I love the neutral colors, but I agree with you. I get in trouble for pillows at home all the time. But the pillows are great on this bed because it has a huge headboard, so you want to make sure we bring down a little bit of the focal point because of that oversized headboard. But what else do we have with the oversized headboard is lamps that are absolutely massive.
They are huge lamps. You wouldn't normally think about lamps that large in a bedroom, but because of that massive headboard, because we want to draw your eyes up to that coffered ceiling, great lamps.
It does work in this room. There's so many other features about this room that work from a staging standpoint. I can stay here all day and enjoy it.
We are in another perfectly staged room here in Tullymore Run, and this is the playroom. And remember, when it comes to staging, just because it's a playroom doesn't mean you don't stage it.
Definitely, and we've got a nice list of things for you to really begin to think through as you're thinking about staging your home.
There's a lot of basic principles, as we talked about earlier with Barb Schwartz. 7 basic principles, and you can see them here. Decluttering.
Cleaning.
Strategically arranging furniture.
This is an important one, depersonalize.
And of course, fresh paint.
clean floor or a brand new floor.
And of course, you want to light that room. So again, we are out here in this great playroom. As you can see, it's staged great. There's not too many things. We do have a few toys, but you don't need to line every wall with toys when you're staging.
Yeah, the idea of decluttering is a huge one, especially for a room like this, where, of course, trying to make people feel like they can live in it. We want to have some things out so it does feel like this is a lived-in room, but that's way different than being too cluttered.
And we have a lot of fun things in here. So of course, we have a nice bright paint color, which is exciting. We have some neat things like a hanging chair. We have a floating shelf. So when people walk in here, they can really picture themselves. Like I said, it's a playroom, but maybe you have older children. There's a lot of opportunities when you come into this room. And in this room, you can do other things. You can have a little mini bar like we did in this room with a little refrigerator. It could be more of a craft room, which we did an awesome craft room a few years ago on Flutter Road.
And of course, when we think game rooms, right now, of course, many kids and many adults are very much into video games. And so having a great right-sized TV, as well as having some storage for all those games, because it is an easy space to get very cluttered very easily.
If you'd like more information on how to design your perfect playroom or sell your perfect playroom, give us a call. We have experts who can help you through that process.
We got some Mario Kart here.
Okay.
You got this, Luke. You got.
You have to cheat to win. I see how it is. So we're here down in the basement, or like we like to call it, the lower level. Now, from my experience, I know the basements are where the kids hang out a lot. A lot of times it's kind of the catch-all. And so we have to be really careful on how we stage this area to make sure someone can visualize what it can be.
One major importance when it comes to staging on basements is the knickknacks, barrel wax, accessories, whatever you want to call it. You don't want to do too much of them when you're putting everything together.
And we've got a fun bar over here. You can see we went more with the vintage look, but we didn't overdo it, right? You know, everything's got its place, everything looks good, clean, concise, and you can visualize, you know, getting a gumball or making a hot dog there.
The other part about visualizing everything is, especially with basements and lower levels, they seem to be a little darker. So we made sure that we put over 20 can lights plus the other lighting in here to make sure that you could see everything.
Right, we're very fortunate we've got a lot of natural light that comes in, but at night, those can lights are gonna supplement that. And you know, you do spend a lot of time entertaining down in basements.
Yes.
And you can see here, we've got the pool table, we've got a game table behind us, a kitchenette. So really you look at that and you could think, okay, this is nice. But when you're entertaining, you have to be worried about noise, ambient noise level. So it can get kind of echoey down in lower levels. That's where rugs really come into play.
And you need to make sure you're getting the right size rug for the right size of area. If you look over my shoulder, you're going to see the gaming table there. You want to make sure that that rug is going to be wide enough that you can put the chairs completely on the rug. You don't want 2 legs on, 2 legs off. You want to make it comfortable, and you want those to help reduce that sound.
And another thing about the lower level that I really like in this one is the brick behind us.
Yes.
We've created some texture, which really help kind of balance the space out.
And also the artwork, the things on the wall, they all just bring everything and tie it all together in this great lower level and basement. And if you like some ideas on how to do it for you, just go ahead and give us a call or go to graniteridgebuilders.com.
All right, your shot.
Okay.
All right, Kayla, when we're talking about staging, everyone seems to focus on the interior of the house, but really don't overlook the impact that the exterior can have when it comes to staging, because most people, when they pull up to the house, they've already made the decision whether or not they like the house.
It really is very true. And one of the principles that we're going to talk about here that's a great tip for staging is the term feng shui.
Now let's break that into 2 parts. Feng, which means wind, so breath of life. Shui means water or liquid, so the liquid of life. So those 2 parts broken apart mean wind and water.
Now, we do incorporate a lot of that into staging. We will definitely think of the environment around us. We try to maybe have a water feature or something like that. But what feng shui really is the art of placement. So that means the placement of furniture, the placement of possessions. It even means the placement of yourself within your environment and your surroundings.
Right, or in this case, maybe placement of plants. Like you see behind us, they bordered our walkway here with these nice shrubs, which makes it feel really welcoming and inviting as you're walking up to the house.
Yes, it's really all about your environment and how you place things around you. It's really the comfort and nature too, how everything plays in to your overall feeling.
Yeah, so like when you're staging an exterior of a home, a couple things to keep in mind. Just, some updated mulch, right? Some fresh mulch can make a big difference. Maybe you've lived in that house for 20 years. Maybe removal of a few of those overgrown plants can really start to showcase the house again. Or in this case, we've got a nice big front porch. Make that front porch look like you can sit on it, right? And enjoy that. A lot of people still like that front porch sitting.
It's really important to have a clear path to the area you want your guests to come to. So that's going to be your front door. So making sure there's no clutter around you. But Luke, don't forget, the front is incredibly important. But what about the back of the house too? You're going to spend a lot of time living there. Make sure you put a lot of emphasis on your placement of furniture, your patio furniture, your grill setting. Make sure all of that's cleaned up and tidy in the back of your home too.
Again, you want to make people feel like they can see the potential of that house, and the potential lies not on the inside but also on the outside. What can that yard, what can that view do for them?
I'm saying that feng shui is all about your environment and your surroundings, and we want to make sure we focus on what's pleasing to the eye when it comes to the architecture of your home and the structure too.
Right, so some of those things that we've thrown out, balance, mass, proportion, that all comes into play when we're designing these houses. But one thing you want to make sure is that the front door is easily identifiable, right? So there's a lot of things that we can do, adding some shutter, adding some pent roofs, things like that can really start to shift the eye's focus on the area that you want it to be on the house.
And if you've been in your home for a while, think about the investment of sprucing it up a little bit with some fresh paint on the trim, your front door, give it a new coat or something like that, because it's going to make a very big impact for somebody coming in to see themselves living in that home.
Right, and we just did a show where we talked all about how important that front door color can be. So, but again, there's a lot we could talk about here. I love being outside. It's going to be a great day here. I think we could spruce up a little bit of this landscaping while we're here today. So, let's do it.
Do some annual things here.
Well, it's time to close. I hope the audience found this fun. I know we did. I've learned a lot. I know one thing that I brought out of this show was the word staging. I really didn't appreciate how much staging has improved and what it really meant. It's really theatrical.
One of my favorite parts is actually the depersonalization. Just so you're aware, we're not saying you have an ugly family, at least not most of us. We're just simply saying that we want people to walk in and imagine themselves in your home. So if there's lots of things around there that are specifically pointed at you and your family, it could be a bit of a distraction for the staging.
I'm really drawn to nature, and so the concept of feng shui is really fun for me to try to incorporate into a new home.
And I learned about the importance of some accessories. I learned about things like the etagères. Is that what we call them?
Bonnie, it's the etagere.
Yeah, the etagere, yeah.
So there's a lot of open shelving on the etagere. And remember, it's important, you can put accessories on it, but you don't want too much. So when you're staging your home to sell, it's not the time to have your big collection right there.
I think we definitely proved that lighting matters when it comes to staging. Not just the task lighting, the ambient lighting, but the natural light too.
I think we proved that you can have fun when it comes to staging. You can do a theme room like we did with Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And don't forget about the outside. And we're not just talking about the curb appeal, but also the backyard. Make sure that potential buyer can visualize those backyard barbecues with their family.
Well, time has run out. Kayla, would you go ahead and close for us?
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for joining us today. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about who we are, what we do, and why we do what we do so well, please pick up the phone and give us a call. Visit our website, or even better yet, come into any one of our 30 staged models. We would love to talk to you.
Okay, Tony, we got to move this over.
And also we want to accentuate. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Close.
It was good. It's fine.
Buyer's agents say that when you have a home staged, they can actually their clients can visualize themselves in
Time out. That was my statistic. I don't know what happened, but I want to just make sure.